Welcome back. Stocks starting the week on a stronger footing after the Nasdaq turned in its worst week since April last week. Some questions were raised about the sustainability of the AI trade. Meantime, questions remain around where all this energy is going to come from to power the AI boom. Our next guest is investing heavily in expanding its data center business. Let's bring in Generac CEO Aaron Jagdfeld for a CNBC exclusive right here at Post 9. It's great to have you in. Welcome.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Carl.
I think viewers can sort of understand the pivot, but how deep into it are you?
So it's brand new for us. We just announced it last year, but it's amazing. I mean, just how quickly the backlog is growing, up to $300 million in orders already. We haven't even, we just began shipping product here. So we think actually we can double the size of our commercial and industrial business in the next 3 to 5 years, which is, it's $1.5 billion business today. So the amount of spending on AI is just, it's really something to get your arms around.
It's literally, it is the rising tide.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Where are most of the product that's going out? What types of projects are craving it?
Yeah, so I mean, it's co-locators, there's hyperscale projects. I mean, it's basically everything you're hearing from everybody out there that would go into a building, right? So these are generators that go in the back of the building. So they're huge farms. Hundreds of these gen sets sit there because you've got to have 5 nines of uptime for these types of installations because it's unbelievable the kind of economic loss that can happen when a site goes down.
Our customers like, where have you guys been? What took you so long?
Yeah, they have. I mean, we've been in the generator business for 65 years. So mostly on the residential side, which is probably what we're best known for.
Right.
But in the C&I side, we've had a good C&I business for a long time. We just haven't had access to some of the larger engines that go into those machines. So there is more supply coming into the market now. And so we're bringing these machines to market, and there's a huge supply deficit.
Is it a new product for you then? Or I mean, is it similar to just having what we know very well and just a lot more of them?
That's exactly it. I mean, generators are generators, right? So this is just a much larger version of the same thing we've been making for a long time.
Does it shift your production facility location?
So we're global, right? So and the demand is global as well. So we've just shipped some sites out in Australia. So we've got a lot of this is going to happen in the U.S. up in Wisconsin where we're headquartered. We've got a brand new facility we just brought online. So we're shifting more of the production to that facility, opening up capacity for these large units, and we're going to be ramping all next year and into 27 and 28.
So it's a kind of new market that you're catering
brand
to
new.
And you're selling to.
Yeah, for us anyway.
But overall, I mean, because of AI, aren't we constantly hearing about power shortages and strains on the grid? Isn't that provide a place for you?
It definitely
across
is.
The board?
It kind of cuts both ways for us, right? So in our core business of backup power for homes and businesses, you've got this issue of not enough power, which is creating more outages, right? So it used to be weather was 70 to 80% of all outages were caused by Mother Nature. Now you're seeing outages happening because you just don't have enough supply. You go back to 2021, February 2021 in Texas with the big freeze.
We remember, yeah.
I mean, this was an issue where you didn't have enough supply, demand overwhelmed the grid because everybody turned on their heat down in Texas at once, and the only option the grid operator had, ERCOT, was to shut the grid off to keep it from significant long-term damage. So this type of situation is playing out in much greater force going forward. We see what AI is going to do is 100 gigawatts of power that's going to be brought online in the next 5 years in terms of new demand. That's like adding 20 New York cities. If you just think of it in the context of just how much raw power that is, that's needed for all the construction that has been announced or put in place.
So then what happens to the residential business?
Well, the residential business is doing great. I mean, we didn't have much of a season this year. It was a little slower. Weather was nice, actually, everywhere.
Not too many hurricanes?
Not too many hurricanes, which is good for people who live in those areas. But for our business, a little bit slower. But the penetration rate continues to grow there, too. 7% of all U.S. households now have a home standby generator. It's one of the most popular new products if you're going to put a new home together. It used to be the spa tub and everything. Now people want a generator on the house because power outages are happening more frequently and they're lasting longer.
Yeah. Are you getting the sense that residential is either financing product more or maybe passing on a discretionary purchase?
It's certainly, price has become an issue, right? Our costs have gone up, prices have gone up in the marketplace 20% in the last 3 or 4 years. So that unfortunately, that has an impact for people, and they've got to figure out a way to pay for that. Financing has become a bigger lever to pull. But it's still something, you worry about the state of the health of the consumer here. We're watching it very closely. Big ticket consumer durable goods like this tend to be slowing down a bit.
I'm just trying to understand, are you primary generation for these data centers or backup?
Backup. Emergency
only
power.
Backup.
Only
That's
backup.
it. Okay.
Not on site, not primary
because,
power.
Because, when
like
Elon
that.
Musk started his thing down in Memphis, he basically put in a bunch of gas turbines.
That's what they did.
That's dissimilar in some ways from what...
No, we would call that bridge power as a way to get to and interconnect with the grid at some point.
Right.
For us, every one of those sites needs emergency power anyway, right? So our products aren't really the kind of thing you can run. You could potentially run them if you had to, and we don't know if it's going to come to that. We make natural gas versions of those products. Those do tend to be run more in a prime or limited prime situation, but it's primarily for emergency backup.
Finally, is there a big margin differential between this and the residential business?
So the residential business has really good margins, but we're finding that the margins are quite nice here as well. And again, because of the lack of supply, it's economics 101. So you're just, demand is overwhelming supply in these large generator categories. You've seen the report outs from Caterpillar. You've seen the report outs from Cummins. Those are two competitors of ours in the space. They've done very, very well. I mean, Caterpillar has essentially turned themselves into a large generator company, instead of a construction equipment company.
Right. And its stock actually kind of...
It reflects it.
Yeah, it does.
Absolutely.
How big can this be?
Well, again, we think it's going to be at least double where we're at today. So $1.5 billion is our C&I business, our commercial and industrial business. We think it's going to be a $3 billion business in the next 3 to 5 years. Could be bigger. Some of the hyperscale projects we're looking at are just, it's really hard to wrap your head around how much power in a single site. They're talking about sites that have 500, megawatts, up to a gigawatt of power in a single site.
Aaron, fascinating. Really nice look into the wave that we're all trying to understand, as you said. It's good to see you.
Great. Good to see you as well.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah,
Aaron
thank you,
Youngfeld.
guys. Appreciate it.